Hi, I'm Barry. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I promise you, you will not regret it. I have so many quality videos lined up for the near future. I promise you're not going to want to miss it. Without further ado, let's begin. Kansas City versus Pittsburgh. The Chiefs rolled into the Steel City and put an ass whooping on the Steelers early and often. Mahomes had his best game of the season and what's his final game of the regular season, as the Chiefs are now going to rest all of their starters and give Carson Wentz a chance to play in game number 17. But let's focus on this one. Russell Wilson, just a terrible end zone interception. God, I can't believe Russell Wilson, of all people, threw a terrible goal line interception there. He'd make up for it with a touchdown run, but the Chiefs would slowly expand the game. The Steelers would answer to make it 16-10, but the Chiefs would bounce back in the fourth quarter, going up with a Kareem Hunt. He really punched that one in there, get it? And he made it 22-10. Then the Steelers fumbled stupidly. I can't believe they would do that. You're not supposed to fumble. And all that would do was set up another Mahomes touchdown pass, his third of the day, in the end racism end zone. Thank God for Travis Kelce. 4th and 20, subliminal message for 420 marijuana. We don't like that, but the pass was dropped by George Pickens, and the Chiefs ended up winning rather easily, which is somewhat foreign to them, 29-10. The video continues right after this. I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, DraftKings. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. To my partners at DraftKings. The holidays are finally here, and my partners at DraftKings have the perfect gift for you. Right now, all new DraftKings customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up using my promo code BARRY. Crown is yours. That's right. New customers get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins after betting just $5. And don't forget to stay in on the action and use your $150 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code BARRY and bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code BARRY only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Baltimore versus Houston. It was supposed to be an exciting game, but it turned out to be a laugher as the Ravens controlled this one from start to finish, starting off with a Derrick Henry touchdown run, a Justin Tucker field goal was added, and then the only points of the game for Houston came on a safety when they tackled big-ass Derrick Henry in the end zone. So yeah, your offense getting shut out at home. That's not good, especially when you get stopped at the goal line on 4th and goal. Joe Mixon couldn't punch that one in, get it? It's so funny. Lamar Jackson was on his A game in this one, just throwing the ball around. Mark Andrews had a super long pass and ended the same possession with another touchdown pass, but the Ravens up 17-2. CJ Stroud, his sophomore slump really continued, or maybe he just sucks. I don't know. He is an Ohio State quarterback after all. Threw a terrible interception that ended with Lamar making everybody else feel bad about how slow they are with a long touchdown run to make it 24-2. And then after another Ravens stop, they got the ball back and punched it in for another touchdown to make it 31-2, and there was still almost a whole nother quarter and a half to play, but really all that saw was just garbage time and turnovers and things, nothing really interesting. So the Ravens and Lamar's MVP case were kept in good standing with this blowout win. Seattle versus Chicago. As somebody who was born with a very rare disease that causes me to orgasm whenever I see a field goal or a punt, this game had me on the floor throbbing. My goodness, what an entertaining game this was. There were a couple field goals, including in the first half, to make it 6-3 Seattle halftime. And that's literally it. There were no more points scored in the second half, but there were a lot of sacks, and there were a lot of third down stops, and fumbles, and sacks, and well, more stops. And there was even an interception thrown by Caleb Williams, the first time he's thrown an interception since I think October. Not like it matters though, because the Bears have ended up losing how many consecutive games? The game finally ended on 4th and 10 when Williams threw up the prayer for the interception, and that's how it ended. Seriously, a 6-3 game on Thursday Night Football. I mean, is there any more possible Thursday Night Football game than this? What a forgettable performance. Everybody who took part in this should be ashamed and arrested immediately. Chargers versus New England. Justin Herbert had his best game of the season, and it was good enough to clinch the Chargers a playoff spot. Hopefully this time they don't blow like 25-point lead, whatever the fuck it was. Anyways, the Patriots' nightmare season continued, and I still have no idea what Gerard Mayo is supposed to be good at. I understand that Bill Belichick last year was also really bad, but at least the Patriots' defense was still good. This year, the Patriots suck in every single regard. The only hope they have is Drake May, who makes about 1 or 2 plays a game to make you go, hey, there might be some future here. But really, this game was just about Herbert throwing to Ladd McConkey for touchdowns and the Chargers kicking field goals and Drake May taking sacks before the Chargers made it a 30-point game with a touchdown run, and then they added as a little fuck you as a cherry on top. They kicked the field goal to make the final score 40-7. It's still kind of weird to see the Patriots get their asses kicked this badly growing up in the dynasty era. Cincinnati versus Denver. Holy shit. shit, a game that was on primetime and actually entertaining? Are you serious? Well, although even though it would start to get good towards the end, the beginning of this game was, well, rather boring as expected. The Bengals took a 7-3 lead into halftime. They expanded that to 10-3 in the third quarter before the Broncos offense started to wake up. Cortland Sutton made a great touchdown catch to make it 10-all. Then the Bengals and fraud MVP candidate Joe Burrow responded again with another great T. Higgins touchdown catch to make it 17-10. The Broncos said, hey, wait a minute, we can score touchdowns too. Bo Nix launched a nuke, no offense to Israel, and made a great throw to Mims. This is why I'm hot. T. Higgins then fumbled it, which gave the Broncos a chance to take the lead, but they gave it right back with an interception for Bo Nix. I still can't tell whether Bo Nix is good or not. Joe Burrow, instead of running down the clock, decided to sneak, which gave the Bengals a 7-point lead with about a minute and a half left. The Broncos drove the ball down the field. Then Bo Nix launched another nuke, and it was actually answered. What in the Jeff Janis is going on here? The game got sent into overtime, and both teams had a chance to win the game early on their first possessions, but they messed up. Then the Bengals had a gimme field goal to win the game, but they doinked it off the crossbar, and it seemed like Denver was going to win, but Denver gave the ball right back. Then Joe Burrow finally put the game to rest with a couple passes to T. Higgins, including a touchdown, and then after throwing the game-winning touchdown, which kept the Bengals' playoff hopes alive, Burrow unleashed an expletive with kids watching. What? I can't believe this guy. That's karma for getting your house broken into, pal. Rams versus Arizona. Unfortunately, we as NFL fans were only entitled to one entertaining NFL game. I'm trying my best to make these clips make the game look entertaining, but it really wasn't. The Rams had a touchdown run, then they kicked a field goal to go up by 10, and then Kyler Murray did his little scrambling thing, and then he had an amazing touchdown pass, but they missed the extra point, and then the Cardinals made it a 1-point game with a field goal early in the fourth quarter, and then the Rams responded to make it a 4-point game, and the Cardinals would have their chances to win the game, but Kyler Murray isn't clutch. He threw an interception with 3 minutes left, but he got the ball back and got the ball into the Rams' 5-yard line, down 4 with 40 seconds left and a chance to win, but they didn't hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, and look what happened. They got intercepted in the end zone. Kyler Murray doing his best to try and hide how happy he is now that he can go back to playing video games full-time. Tampa Bay versus Carolina. God, it's so amazing how Baker Mayfield went into this team that had absolutely no talent and no weapons and has put up MVP numbers. I was told that only Tom Brady could put up MVP numbers and huge stats playing quarterback for Tampa Bay. But either way, the Buccaneers really just whipped the Carolina Panthers 6 ways from Sunday. Mike Evans had a big day. Baker Mayfield threw for nearly 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Bryce Young actually had a couple nice throws in the first half to make the game look semi-competitive, but the second half was all Buccaneers. Again, this is the second straight season where the Buccaneers have now won more games than they did in Tom Brady's final season. Again, I was told that Tom Brady was the only player who could possibly do well with the Buccaneers. There was even a duck sighting. Yes, a duck sighting, and it happened on the same play that there was a block punt return touchdown. More like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, am I right? But they weren't even done after that. They had another touchdown in store, which made it 48-14, a 34-point ass whooping to improve to 9-7. Is Baker Mayfield an MVP candidate now too, Joe Burrow fans? I mean, he has the stats, and you said team record doesn't matter. I'm just trying to figure out. But thank you to the Buccaneers for proving Tom Brady's a system quarterback. Philadelphia versus Dallas. What a glorious day this was, as the game started out with a pick 6 by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. The Cowboys then had a fake comeback where they scored a touchdown to make it 7-7, and that's literally the only good thing they would do all day. Kenny Pickett, who didn't even finish the game because his tiny hands were unable to protect his bruised ribs, had a touchdown pass to Devonta Smith to go 14-7. The Cowboys fumbled. The Eagles kicked the field goal to make it a 10-point game. Cooper Rush then threw another interception to Gardner-Johnson. A true modern Deion Sanders he is. Kenny Pickett then had a tush-push touchdown to make it 24-7. The Eagles made it a 20-point game. Then Saquon Barkley, who, oh, by the way, ran for over 2,000 yards. And it was in 16 games, so it's not cheapened by the extra game. As an honor to O.J. Simpson, who tragically passed away earlier this offseason. Wow, what a class act Saquon is. Anyway, so the Cowboys fumbled again. Tanner McKee, that's right, Tanner McKee. The Eagles, Tanner McKee threw 2 touchdowns, his first 2 touchdowns. I know all the Jalen Hurts haters are going to say, oh, well, Jalen Hurts is a system quarterback there. Well, bro, if it gives me 6 fucking championships and 6 Lombardi trophies, Jalen Hurts being assistant quarterback, sign me up for that shit. I'm an Eagles fan first, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. We win the division, and we're going to win the Super Bowl next. Buffalo versus the Jets. Despite it being a lost season, this was a chance for the Jets to still show they have some pride, and it's gone, as they would give up touchdowns, they would throw interceptions, they gave up a safety, they gave up a field goal, they threw another interception. In fact, the only time all day I really saw Aaron Rodgers give any effort was on the interception return where he got flagged for unnecessary roughness, and then from that point on, it was 12-0 late in the third quarter. The Bills literally blew the game open. Amari Cooper had a great touchdown catch. Rodgers took a sack, and there was another touchdown run to make it 26-0. Oh, look, here's a fumble by Garrett Wilson, which the Bills Bills then turned into another touchdown on a bullshit throw by Josh Allen to make it 33-0. Oh, and then there's Rodgers getting sacked again, which the Bills, just an unbelievable MVP caliber touchdown pass here by Josh Allen to make it 40-0. And then Tyrod Taylor came in, threw a couple touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers was happy about that. Aaron Rodgers loves to lose, as we saw that the Buffalo Bills blow out the Jets, putting themselves once again in prime position to lose to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for the fourth time in 5 years. Jacksonville versus Tennessee in a game that literally meant nothing to basically nobody. The Jaguars took an early 10-0 lead in the first half, and then in the second half, the Titans started to make some plays, I guess, and then it responded with a touchdown from Mason Rudolph, who's somehow still alive after being murdered by Myles Garrett in 2019. Is it possible for a ghost to throw a touchdown pass? Ask Sam Darnold. He sees them. Anyway, so yeah, the game was 20-13, and then the Titans had one last chance, and it was tipped. So really, the Titans lost, but it really ended up helping them because they now have a better draft position than the Jaguars do. Doug Peterson and his stupid fucking visor. Congratulations, pal. But if you want to talk about a team messing up their draft position hilariously, look no further than the Giants. I mean, they're hosting the Colts, who were still looking for a playoff spot. The Colts went up 3-0. The Giants said, hey, we're going to actually play well in this game for the first time all year. When we actually have something to gain by losing, we're not going to lose. It's just perfectly hilarious. This just sums up the Giants. What a fucking terrible organization. But even still, even in a game where they did lose, they gave up 33 points because they're still the Giants. However, they did return a kickoff return for a touchdown in the middle of it. Joe Flacco was playing because Anthony Richardson was hurt again, I guess. I don't know. I've given up on Big Tony, unfortunately. I'm off Big Tony Island. The game was never really close, or actually, it actually was. The Colts failed a hook and ladder 2-point conversion. The Giants then had a touchdown. And then, the Colts made it close again with another touchdown pass to make it 35-33, but then the Giants responded with another touchdown. Drew Lock had an MVP caliber day. Hey, Burrow fans, is Drew Lock in the MVP conversation now? Yes, then Flacco threw a pick, and then the Giants added a field goal to score 45 points in honor of the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump. That is just embarrassing. Keep politics out of sports, guys. Las Vegas versus New Orleans. Going in the Big Easy. The game began with a field goal, and then Spencer Rattler unleashed a long touchdown pass, something Tom Brady could learn from. Then the Raiders kicked another field goal to make it 7-6, and then the Raiders scored a touchdown to make it 13-7, but the Saints said, hey, wait a minute, we can kick field goals too. That's why we're here. We made a field goal to make it 13-10 Raiders at that time. The Raiders said, you know what, bitch, I'm going to fucking drop you on your head and kick another field goal to make it 16-10, and then they kicked another field goal to make it 19-10 in the fourth quarter, and then Spencer Rattler started throwing interceptions, which is a no-no, which set up the Raiders' second touchdown of the day, which made it 25-10, and then to finally end the game, Spencer Rattler threw an amazing interception to make the final score 25-10. At least the Saints will always have those first 2 weeks of the season when they actually look legitimate. Miami versus Cleveland. Another unbelievably exciting game, which started off with a Miami field goal, but then Cleveland responded with a field goal, and yeah, that was all Cleveland's offense could do for the day, because Dorian Thompson-Robinson is somehow worse than Deshaun Cosby on the field. Important qualifier. Tyler Huntley looked like an actual Pro Bowler, and yes, he somehow has made a Pro Bowl. I made a video about this. All Cleveland's offense could do all game was put up a measly 3 points, and that's it. And that's really, I mean, look, people always complain, oh, your review videos aren't as good as they used to be. Well, probably because I don't have as much time for bullshit games like this, and there seems to be so many of them now. Minnesota versus Green Bay. Famous driver Josh Jacobs fumbled the ball away. You're not supposed to do that, Josh. And then the Vikings kicker missed this kick short in a dome that he needs to get his man card revoked for that. The Packers kicker made his field goal, and then the Packers decided to give up a long touchdown. They went for it on 4th and 2, and it was dropped. And then finally the Vikings kicker made a field goal to make it 10-3, and then he tried another 50-yard field goal, and this time he made it. Congratulations, you got your man card back, pal. And then Sam Darnold, mono boy, threw a touchdown to make it 20-3. But even in the season of his career, he's still Sam Darnold, so he's got to throw a terrible interception. And this led to a fumble by the Packers. Interceptor was somehow, literally, this is the best play by a Packers player all game by 94, recovering this fumble to make sure it wasn't given back to the Vikings. Josh Jacobs turned it in to make it 20-10. The Vikings responded with another touchdown to make it 27-10 going into the fourth quarter. And again, the Vikings kicker missed this field goal indoors. His man card once again revoked. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Packers then went and got a touchdown and 2-point conversion, making it a 9-point game. They would get the ball back and then do a fake comeback to make it a 2-point game, but then they gave up 2 first downs defensively, which allowed the Vikings to kneel out the clock and improve to 14-2, which sets up a battle for the number 1 seed next week versus the Detroit Lions. I'll be watching that at my wife's boyfriend's house. Washington versus Atlanta. Normally, when you whip your Penix out in the cold, it shrinks, and that's what he did to start this game with an interception. And the Commanders capitalized with a touchdown to go up 7-0, but the Penix fought back with a touchdown run by Bijan Robinson to tie the game at 7, and then the Falcons even took a lead 14-7 on another Bijan Robinson touchdown run. They extended that lead to 10 when not Younghoe Koo kicked a field goal, which was actually kind of like a curveball in baseball. Really actually cool looking. Wow, that's the first exciting field goal I've ever seen. There's no way possible that the Falcons would ever blow a double-digit lead in an important game, right? Well, you're actually wrong, buddy, because they would do just that, giving up a touchdown to make it 17-14, and then they would give up another touchdown to fall behind 21-17 early in the fourth quarter, and then thanks to a questionable holding penalty, they held Washington to a field goal, and then it was nut-crunching time for Penix. Unfortunately for Washington, he proved to be up to the challenge as he completed a 4th and 11 pass, and then he threw a touchdown pass to Kyle Pitts on 4th and goal, which is really like 5 touchdown passes because Kyle Pitts stinks. Atlanta even got the ball back and was set up into deep field goal range for the game winner, and the kick was missed short. This guy's man, I know, look, I can understand if you miss a field goal to the left or the right or you double doink it, but it has, at least you actually got enough hold of the kick to get it there. If you don't have enough manpower in your leg to get the ball there, but I tell you what, my estimation of Washington's kicker as a man just fucking plummeted. Unlike Joe Burrow, his fellow LSU Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, Jaden Daniels wouldn't need 3 overtime drives to win as he did it on the first try, throwing it to Eagles legend Zach Ertz to win 30-24 and send the Commanders to their first playoff berth since 2020. I can't wait to watch them lose in the wild card round again. Detroit versus San Francisco. Brock Purdy fires a bullet here to Ricky Pearsall. Well, actually, on second thought, that's probably not the nice thing to say. But the 49ers went up 7-0 because what? Detroit has a really, really good offense, and so they scored a touchdown. They missed the extra point, but it wasn't a big deal in the end, although the 49ers kept on scoring early on, including getting a 14-6 lead. But Jared Goff said, you know what? I'm going to have a hook and ladder play for you, and Jameson Williams, who is an incredibly responsible gambler and a responsible adult, scored this amazing touchdown. But Brock Purdy said, I'm from Iowa State, and I was Mr. Irrelevant. Did you know that? As he threw the ball downfield, and he ran for a sneaky touchdown. Deceptive athleticism there to put the 49ers up by 8. And then Jake Moody, who secretly is really not an NFL kicker, but he was disguised as one, missed a 51-yard field goal. Second half, this gave the Lions a great chance to get back in the game. They had an 8-point drive where they tied it at 21. But the 49ers were not done yet as they went back up with another touchdown, 28-21. And then the Lions kicked a field goal to make it a 4-point game. And then things started to fall apart. No offense to the World Trade Center for San Francisco. As if there isn't already enough shit on the streets in San Francisco, the 49ers defense completely disappeared. And Jake Moody also didn't resemble anything close to an NFL kicker once again, as the Lions kicked field goals to make it a 6-point game. Purdy threw another interception, and then the Lions expanded that lead to 12 to make it 40-28. Purdy was so bad, he got benched. And he got benched for Josh Dobbs. Remember when he was like the biggest story in the NFL for 3 weeks last year? I do. Dobbs would score a Vince Young in the Rose Bowl as touchdown to make it 40-34, and then Jake Moody, just to put a cap on his shit Sunday, or Monday in this case, missed the extra point. The game meant nothing to the Lions as they go into a winner-take-all for the number 1 seed next week versus the Vikings, but it was still an entertaining game.